Haunted Halloween 85 is an action platformer for both the original NES console as well as their Steam digital distribution. Players take on the role of Donnie, a middle school punk on a mission to save his town from the relentless hordes of the undead. I have made it my personal mission to beat Haunted Halloween 85. I'm losing, but each time I switch the game on, I gain a little more ground and play through previous levels with just a little more finesse. It's the sort of game you can come back to again and again. The first time you play it, it's a little challenging, and some of the later stages are just unfair, but once you've learned the various tricks and patterns necessary to beat it, you'll keep playing just to perfect your game. It's not a perfect platformer, but it does get a lot of things right. The music is, for lack of a better word, awesome! I'm not a musician. I can't break down the sounds and analyze them in depth. In fact, I don't normally even mention music in my reviews, but the soundtrack plays a huge role in my enjoyment of this title, with the shopping mall being my favorite track. Once I picked up the button sequence for a particular level, I found myself playing in rhythm to the song. It transformed my experience from something I was doing to challenge myself into something I was doing to relax. Until I reached that damn cornfield anyway. My biggest complaint from this title is the sharp difficulty spike towards the end of the game. I assume anyway. The brilliant opening sequence walks you through the kid's route to school, and the cornfield is his last stop before getting home. I'm fine with a fair challenge, and even the seemingly impassable pumpkins weren't much of a hurdle once I figured out how to jump over them safely. But the game likes to throw black birds at you against a black background. The trick is to watch their tiny little eyes and listen for their squawks before plunging, but they're still really hard to see, and if your timing's off, they'll quickly chew through your health. Plus, waiting for their attacks slows down my progression through the level to a crawl, and it's just my least favorite part of the game. I do appreciate how generous Haunted normally is with extra lives and health containers. Most levels will include a 1-up serum container, whether hidden or in the open, before a particularly tricky sequence, but if there's one prior to the Cornfield's Gauntlet, I haven't found it. Combat is extremely fluid. I love the way that I can throw an uppercut and kill both enemies that I connect with on the initial impact, as well as those that walk into my fist as I'm pulling back. Is it realistic? Hell no, but it's fun. Almost as much fun as repeatedly punching the Wolfman in the nards. I should also mention it's brilliant the way Donnie interacts with the environment. Natural level progression will toss him between the background and foreground, over tables and up trees. Sometimes the environments work against you. Jumping while moving along an angle is impossible, resulting in the occasional cheap death. But the game rarely expects you to make that sort of plunge. Blind jumps are also kept to a minimum, but they do exist. However, Haunted is not the sort of game you beat on your first attempt, so while they may seem initially annoying, once you learn where to jump and when, these pitfalls will probably never bother you again. And even the delay from running to turning around, while initially clunky, quickly becomes second nature. The game gives you a choice of difficulty levels. Each option determines how much damage Donnie can withstand before dying, as well as the color of his pants. After all, pink is for, well, you know. Graphically, I love Haunted's theme. It pays liberal homage to both 80s films and horror movies in general, and picking out the references is almost as much fun as the adventure itself. The transitional cutscenes are extremely well illustrated, and the level backdrops are well drawn. Sadly, I can't say the same for the main character's portraits or sprite, but I can appreciate the nod to Techno's Kunio-kun style. Again, I wish the palette had utilized a little more contrast. Some enemies practically disappear into the environment. At times it's difficult to differentiate hazardous obstacles from environmental flair. But overall, Haunted is an attractive game, and the darker atmosphere perfectly complements the game's horror trappings. Haunted Halloween 85 is another example of the creativity and passion that exists within the NES homebrew community. And if you're looking for a fun platformer with a lot of style and a good challenge, this would be an excellent cartridge to add to your library. But whether this looks like a game you'd personally enjoy or not, I do ask that you check out the Steam Greenlight link in the description box and give it a vote. While new NES cartridges are a fun novelty for classic collectors, it's the digital PC sales that will keep developers producing new content for us to enjoy. Once again, thank you for watching. Daria out.